Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Namanda. Namanda. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us for our annual Pets Memorial Service. So this is a really wonderful service. Oh, that's me over there, huh? It's a wonderful service where we are able to honor our lost loved ones. And so I'd like to begin by reading the name of the pets that we're honoring today. First, these are the ones that I think we're honoring for the first time this year. So there's Jake, Skippy, Kuzu, Midge, Franny, and Snoop Frog. And then these are the pets that we've been honoring in past years. Chang and Eng, Sadie, Sapphire, Luna, and Kismet, Hana and Mr. D, Lola and Tweety, JT, Buttons, Yuki, Hana, and Hime, Kalani and Sadie, Laura, Heidi and Chloe, Rajabelle and Harry, Rosie, Scooter, and Chuck, Zoe and Seymour, Smokey and Baby, Ashley and Muffy, Molly, Bruno, Lulu, Buffy and Twinklebuffin, Adrian the fish, Yuki, Pancho, Canyon, Kyla, and Kiku, Toby, Yuki-chan, Sunshine and Hime, Kitty, Dorothy, Susie Q, Jimmy 1, Jimmy 2, Jimmy 3, Jimmy 4, Bruce, and Poi Poi. Roshan, Sam, Ralph, Stosh, Mike, Spike, Kitten, and Squeaker. Sachi, Baby, She-Dog, Bigby, Carlotta, Mohawk, Koro, Holly, Pooh, Kuma, JJ, Snoopy, Prince, and Maymay, Poki-chan, Prince Kimo 7 and Princess Taiko, Dylan T, Gil, Kayla, Snow White, Googles, and Digby, Coco, Koomori Kitty, Sandy, aka Niji, Bernie, Shelty, Corbu, Ella, and Sunny D, Murphy, Pico, Sammy Cat, and Olay, Buddy and Gizmo, Fishy and Quincy, Pepper, Seth, Tabi, Mocha, Kona, Vicky and Kuma, Mika, Goldie, Kiwi, Fishy, and Milo, Sweetie Girl and Gizmo, Kino, Coco, Chibi and Vegas, Mac and Kitty Kitty, Cisco, Shadow, Coco, KG Usagi, Juba, Mary Jane, and Sarah Lee, and Pippin, Sunny, and Kona. Okay, so those are our pets that we're honoring this year. Next, we would like to chant Gassho to Amida. So I think you have a folder, and if you don't, it's going to be on the screen. So you try to read it on the screen and let us know if you're able to see it, okay? But I think you have the folder too.
Oh, this is two different names? Yeah, KG. Oh.
Namanda, 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 namanda. Amida Butsu, I recite Amida's name. name with deep joy and gratitude. I Gassho to Amida. Trees and grasses and flowers all grow in his compassion. His light shines throughout the world. I Gassho to Amida. Flowers bloom and flowers fall. From the seed sprout new flowers. This is the truth unchanging. I Gassho to Amida. Springtime brings the happy birds. Their songs all praise Amida. I join them in Nembutsu. I Gassho to Amida. When I call Amida's name, it's Amida calling me. His voice and my voice are one. I Gassho to Amida. When I'm lonely, I recite Namu Amida Butsu. Then I feel him take my hand. I Gassho to Amida. Nembutsu in work and play. Every day with Amida. Every moment filled with light. I Gassho to Amida. Remember the golden chain, kindness to all living things. I will follow this teaching. I Gassho to Amida. In the clear bright morning sun, in the fading light of day, in the darkness of the night, I Gassho to Amida. Namu Amida Butsu. I live in his compassion. His great power guides my life. I Gassho to Amida. Namo Amida Butsu. 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 Gam Nishiku Doku Byodo Seisai Dohoten Bodaishin Ojo An Dako. Namo Amida Butsu. 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 Okay, next I'd like to deliver the Dharma message. Pet's Memorial. There it is up on the screen, if you can see over there. And so this is our service that we do every year for our deceased pets. And so it's a really wonderful chance to honor these special companions. First, I'd like to introduce one of my personal favorite internet cats, Lil Bub. And this is a picture from her website. She is the magical space cat. She likes science and magic. And it has her story. She's a very special, one-of-a-kind critter. All right, and I'll just read it for you because this may be hard to see. Discovered as the runt of a healthy feral litter in a tool shed in rural Indiana in the summer of 2011, Lil Bub was taken in as a rescue when it was clear that she would require special care. In her life on Earth, Bub overcame great health challenges and celebrated many great accomplishments before leaving our planet on December 1st, 2019. Her legacy and mission to help animals needing extra care is continued through Lil Bub's Big Fund, which has raised over $500,000 for animals in need. So she's a really amazing kitty cat, and she passed away now over 3 years ago. Here's a picture of her dude, who took such good care of her, because she was a special needs cat. She probably wouldn't have survived if out in the wild. I remember some of the first videos I saw, she couldn't even walk. She had to kind of slither like a snake because of her legs, but they gave her medical care and attention and love. And so later on, she's running around, she even jumping on the couch. And so go on YouTube or on the internet and you can find pictures of her. Who's that? I met Lil Bub. That's me and Lil Bub. She came to the cat video convention here in Oakland, maybe 5, 6, 7 years ago. So I was able to actually meet Lil Bub. I could have paid extra to kiss her, but I didn't go that far. But I was still able to get to meet her and hang out with her, and it was a really, really cool experience. And if you notice on my shirt, it says Yesh. And that's reference to Mutz, which is one of my favorite cartoons, which has Mooch and Earl, and their author does a lot of work for helping animals too. This is Mr. Marbles. It's Lil Bub's space brother. So even though Lil Bub is no longer with us in person, her space brother, Mr. Marbles, has taken up the cause. And he has that one tooth that he has to take really good care of. And he's just really awesome. But here's Bub once again. Bub didn't have teeth. That's one of her special needs. That's why her tongue is hanging out. So her tongue's always hanging out because she didn't have teeth. But she's just a really amazing cat. And so thinking about her, her name is Lil Bub. So this is leading into, we're going to get towards something different. Can you see that? Bub. Right? So here's what I think of for Bub. Ready? B-U Buddhism. Does that sound familiar? See, we could spell it out too. Look. For the people online. It's BU Buddhism on our Dharma school bag, right? And so I really like it because you can just, if you're trying to remember, what was that? And then you can think it's something to do with that cat, little Bub, that's it, Bub, BU Buddhism, right? And so that's a big part of what our Jodo Shinshu Buddhism is. It's to be yourself, that you can be yourself. You don't have to be something you're not, right? That you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to compare yourself to other people and think, they're better looking than me, or they're smarter than me, or they have more stuff than me. I wish I could be like them. Yeah, don't worry about that. Be yourself. Realize how much we have, right? And so this BU Buddhism, it could also be yourself Buddhism, right? But this BU Buddhism, be you. You be you, right? That it's okay to be yourself. But to be yourself doesn't mean it's all about me, right? And so we have to remember there's other aspects too. But first I wanted to talk a little about Gassho to Amida, right? So we chanted that today, right? And so one of the verses in there that we haven't looked at yet is this one. Remember the golden chain, kindness to all living things. I will follow this teaching. I Gassho to Amida. See, if be yourself meant it's only about me, then it wouldn't be Buddhism. But it's be yourself Buddhism, but it's tempered with this. Remember the golden chain. Now, it's hard to remember it if you haven't said it, if you haven't read it. And we haven't really done it, so we're going to start doing it, okay? But this is just kind of introducing it. It's called the golden chain. Do you remember that song by Miharu? We're golden, we're golden, we're golden, we're golden, we're golden. Golden links in Amida's chain. Right? That's what the golden song is about, golden chain. And so this golden chain is, remember the golden chain, right? I put it in bold there, but then kindness to all living things. Kindness to all living things. Right? That BU Buddhism isn't just about me. It doesn't mean I can just be me and not think about anyone else. It's got kindness too. If I'm going to be myself, I have to let other people be themselves too. I got to be kind. Right? And the golden chain says be kind and gentle. The golden chain actually says being kind and gentle to every living thing. Kindness to all living things. Right? That's this message that we have in Gassho to Amida. Right? So Gassho to Amida is filled with all these jewels, right? All these jewels of wisdom. So remember the golden chain, kindness to all living things. So this thinking about this BU Buddhism, be yourself, but we also have the 3 B's. I don't know if you remember this one. This is kind of related. Be kind, be aware, be yourself. Right? So be yourself isn't just by itself. Right? It's be yourself, but also be kind. Also be aware. Think about other people. Right? Think about how other people are feeling. Right? It's not just about me. Another version is AKA that I think you've heard. Actually, in the list I read, right? One of the pets was something AKA something. Right? So they had their name, I think Niji, it was like something AKA Niji. So usually it means also known as, right? They have another name, AKA, but here it means awareness, kindness, and appreciation. Right? It's related, it's all similar, huh? Awareness, trying to be aware, and also aware of Buddha and Buddha's teachings. Kindness, to be kind, and appreciation, this appreciation and gratitude. So there's little Bub again. You know, I know many of you are here in honor of your pets, right, that you've lost. And so we can take this special occasion to think about them, to remember them. I think one of the best parts of pets is this opportunity to take care of someone, right? So if you have pets, you know, you got to feed them, you got to, whatever kind of pet they are, your cat, you clean the litter box, dog, you take them out for a walk and pick up after them. I was going to after yourself, but you have to pick up after them. You shouldn't be doing it out there, right? If you have fish, you got to clean their tank sometimes, right? All the different animals that we might. Oh, I hear there's a gecko pets, snake pets, rat pets, hamster pets, all kinds of pets. No matter what kind of pet, we can help them. They're giving us this chance to take care of them, to be kind to them, to make sure they're okay, right? And so this wonderful thing that pets give us the opportunity to do. They also take care of us, right? That we receive so much from our pets, this love, and even this need to be taken care of is something they're giving to me, right? Last year, we lost Kismet, right? And she was 22 years old. And that last year of her life was difficult. She was amazing. Up until 21, she was amazing, running around, and she had her favorite toy that Miss Maya gave us, and she would bat at that. It was kind of like Rocky doing his training, right? And she'd bat the thing. I'd come down in the morning, and the string was all wrapped around the pole because she's batting. At 21, right? She's like this elderly senior cat. But then, she had a stroke. Couldn't really walk as well anymore. And then she started walking again, so we had to think she can't jump on the couch anymore, kind of like little Bub, right? And so we got her stairs so she could climb up the stairs. But we still have to watch her, so we had to kind of stay with her all the time. And it got difficult, and finally, she really couldn't walk, so we even had to carry her to the bathroom, right? It's a lot of work, not easy. It can be hard. Right? Sometimes it's hard to watch our pets get older. It's really hard when our pets pass away, whatever the circumstances, right? And yet, these wonderful pets, right? This wonderful chance to interact, right? Buddhism isn't just about people. It's about all living things. And so pets give us this special chance to interact with nature, right? More than just people, but there's also this wonderful special chance to take care of them. Right? And realizing, too, how much we receive. So, thank you so much for joining us for our special Pets Memorial Service. Little Bub's looking at me saying, it's time to end the Dharma Talk. Okay, let's end the Dharma Talk. She's right on my screen, staring into my soul. And maybe into yours, too, over there, or online. So thank you so much for joining us for our Pets Memorial. Let's close with Gassho. Remember the golden chain, kindness to all living things. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda. Nam. Okay. Let's sing Gatha. Buddha loves you. Okay. And so you maybe don't have the words, but remember it's fly, fly, little bird. Run, run, little pup. Don't cry, pussycat. Swim, swim, little fish. I don't have them up here right now, so. Starts with bird. Fly, fly, little bird, Buddha loves you, little bird. Tweet, 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 tweet. Run, run, little pup, Buddha loves you, little pup. Wow, 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 wow. Don't cry, pussycat. Buddha loves you, pussycat. Mew, 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 mew. Swim, swim, little fish. Buddha loves you, little fish. Gassho, Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda, namanda. Okay, and now I'm going to turn it over to Robert Noguchi for announcements. Maybe. Oh, here it comes. Can we hear him yet? Oh, hold on. Microphone. Nope, that's not the right one. Oh, there. Okay, go ahead. Yep.
Okay, very good. Well, thank you very much, Sensei. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Buddhist Church of Oakland Pets Memorial Service. Thank you very much for attending today. I'd like to thank first Reverend Bridge for his Dharma talk and officiating today's service. Reverend Michael Endo for assisting in today's service. Steve Terusaki for playing the organ, and our host number one group, chaired by Gary Tominaga and his group downstairs, providing hospitality for those of you attending today's service at BCO. Thank you so much. And also the Zoom crew downstairs in our studios, taking care of the Zoom and the YouTube presentation online for those who can watch now or later. So thank you so much. Next Sunday is the 23rd. We'll have our regular Dharma's Family service at 10 a.m. In person or through YouTube on our YouTube channel. The following Sunday, actually, take a look. We have our announcements here. If you go to the website, BuddhistChurchofOakland.org, you see a number of different things happening for the church. So please feel free to take a glance at the website. The Buddhist Churches of America website, BuddhistChurchesofAmerica.org, the BCA, has a couple of events coming up very soon. In 2 weeks, April 29th, 30th, will be at the Palo Alto Buddhist Temple in Palo Alto, will be the Federation Dharma School Teachers League Conference with guest keynote speaker, Reverend Candace Shibata of the Stockton Buddhist Church. Also, there'll be a Yoga, Buddhism, and Healthy Lifestyle workshop at the Jodo Shinshu Center in Berkeley, Friday, June 9th through Sunday, June 11th. And those events you can go ahead and sign up for online. The last panel is the Hanamatsuri Festival at Orange County Buddhist Church. For those of you who are watching or down in the Southern California area, that'll be happening today, 2 to 7 p.m. And on the Northern California side, the Cherry Blossom Festival is taking place at Japantown, San Francisco. And today is the parade day, so it's going to be a very, very busy day there. But the Buddhist churches, the Bay District Buddhist churches have a table, information table in the plaza, I believe, and they'll have information about the Buddhist temple, not only here at Oakland, but all the Buddhist temples around the Bay Area. So we invite you to go and stop in and say hello to those folks as well. Going back to, let's see, the Buddhist Church of Oakland website. Let's see. This is our donation page. And there are a number of ways that you can donate through PayPal. If you go ahead and take a look at this, the various choices you have, but we appreciate and accept any gifts received. So thank you very much. We really appreciate your support of the Buddhist Church of Oakland. I think the only other thing I had was, I understand there are a few guests and visitors today, and if they can either stand up, or if the host person can go ahead and stand up with them and briefly introduce them, that would be great. Okay, I'll send it to Sensei. Thank you.
Thank you, Robert. Anyone you want to introduce? Okay, I think we're good. Thank you very much. Let me replace the spotlight and let me conclude our Pets Memorial service. Thank you very much. We're going to excuse Dharma School students to their classes. We'll recite Nembutsu one more time, then I'm going to go out there so I can say goodbye. Okay. Gassho. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda. Namanda. And so we're going to take a quick break, and you can come up and do Oshoko if you have not had a chance to already. And then I'm going to go over there. There's Snoop Frog on the screen. Okay, thank you. Why don't we get going? I kind of hate to stop the slideshow, but there we go. Okay. Thank you very much. We'll do a brief, kind of a short adult portion of the service. And why don't we begin by reciting the 3 treasures. And so it's in the small purple book. It's not in the blue folder. If you have a small purple book, it'll be on the screen too. You might be able to see it. We're experimenting with the screen. So let me know if you are like kind of sitting where you are and you're like, I can't see that. Let me know, okay? I won't be offended. It's something new, trying something new. John. John. Rennie. Oh, no, okay. Okay, the 3 treasures. Hard is it to be born into human life, now we are living it. Difficult is it to hear the Buddha Dharma, now we hear it. If we do not deliver ourselves in the present life, no hope is there that we shall be freed from suffering and sorrow in the ocean of birth and death. Let us reverently take refuge in the 3 treasures of the truth. I take refuge in Buddha. May we all together absorb into ourselves the principle of your way to enlightenment and awaken in ourselves your supreme will. I take refuge in Dharma. May we all together be submerged in the depth of the doctrine and gain wisdom as deep as the ocean. I take refuge in Sangha. May we all together become units in true accord in your life of harmony, in a spirit of universal oneness, freed from the bondage of selfishness. Even through myriad ages of kalpas, hard is it to hear such an excellent, profound, and wonderful doctrine. Now we are able to hear and receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true meaning of the Tathagata's teaching. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo. No. Okay, thank you very much. I'd like to deliver another Dharma message. So, part of me feels like I keep saying the same thing over and over again, right? But I think it's important, right? That these kind of Buddhist ideals of kindness, right? Friendliness, and awareness, right? And those are really the two key ones. Like if I was going to burn it down to just two, I'd give those, right? So awareness and kindness, or kindness and awareness, either way, right? And they team up with wisdom and compassion, right? And so wisdom and compassion that's what a Buddha has, perfect wisdom and compassion. Very difficult for me to do, and maybe difficult to understand. Those are kind of big words and could mean all kinds of stuff. So I feel like maybe awareness and kindness can work for understanding it maybe a little more easily. I actually got the idea from Bhante Silavimala, who is a Sri Lankan monk who taught at Institute of Buddhist Studies for decades. And I think I shouldn't say anything online. I was going to say he might retire soon, but you didn't hear it from me. And his thing was be smart and be kind. That's how he expressed this to kids, right? Be smart and be kind. But I actually received feedback from a BCO member. They didn't like the be smart thing, right? And I kind of agree that is it really about intelligence, right? And there's so many different kinds of intelligence, and kids have so many, there's so many aspects to being a kid. So saying be smart, right? I don't know. So that's why I backed off of that one and have that more like be aware, right? To just try and be aware. And that to me is actually more open-ended, which isn't always a good thing, but here I think, just this kind of awareness. It could be like mindfulness that we hear about just out there in society, which comes from Buddhism in many ways, right? This idea of mindfulness, so that kind of awareness. But you always have to ask, if they're saying mindfulness, it's like, okay, mindfulness of what? What am I supposed to be mindful of? Right? And I feel like in Buddhism, there's a whole range of things. And in Jodo Shinshu, one is to be aware of myself, aware of my limitations, and the other is to be aware of Buddha, right? Whether it's, we want to call it awareness of the teachings, awareness of the Dharma, or being mindful of the Buddha, right? This kind of Buddha mindfulness. And if you know where I'm going with this, Buddha mindfulness could be called Nembutsu, right? Butsu is Buddha. Nen can be thought of as this kind of bringing to mind, being mindful of, being aware of. Even Shinran uses the term okunen, which has the nen, which we can think of as mindfulness, and oku can be like kyoku, memory, right? So bringing Buddha to mind is such an important part of Jodo Shinshu, and the way we do it in Jodo Shinshu is we say Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. How many times have we said it today already? I said it 3 times when I sat down. We said it 3 times before. I'm going to do one finger for each 3. I'm not even going to bother, right? We did it before chanting. We did it at the end of chanting. We did it at the end of my Dharma message. We do it during the chanting, another 5. So that's 3, 6, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, right? We've said it already over 20 times in the service because our Buddhism is Namo Amida Butsu. That's the core of, if I just had to say one thing, I could say Namo Amida Butsu. Right? In one sense, it's the Nembutsu that I say, In another sense, it's Nembutsu, like thinking about Buddha, thinking about the Dharma in my daily life. In another sense, it's Namo Amida Butsu, the name of Amida Buddha, right? That's calling out to us, right? So it's not even something for me to say, it's something for me to hear. So anyway, this mindfulness or awareness, right, can mean many things. And if I were to break it down, it's an awareness of myself and my actions, extended out of trying to be aware of other people's feelings, trying to be aware of my impact on others, and awareness of the Buddha, awareness of the Dharma, right? I've said like 6 or 7 things, and I'm trying to say it's 2 things, right? but that kind of shows like this kind of breadth, right? One thing that I wanted to share, and let's see if I can share my screen. I went to, I gotta pull it up. Oh yeah, I have to go to the right page. We had Hanamatsuri lately, and so if we look at you can go online and look at the Buddhist Church of San Francisco Instagram, and this is their post from their Instagram. So they have these banners up in the Hondo, I guess, right? And so here's baby Buddha, right? Here's another one I'm going to talk about. Here's Buddha attaining enlightenment. So they have these nice pictures. But I want to look at this one for a second. This is called the 4 sights. And it's maybe a little hard to see on the screen. Can I zoom in a little bit? Yeah, there we go. So it's the 4 sights. And it's kind of an odd picture. Right? And it's kind of shocking almost and surprising. The first person you see there is an elderly person. The next person is a sick person. The next one is a corpse, a dead person. And then the next one is a mendicant, someone who's like seeking enlightenment. So this is called the 4 sights. This is, Shakyamuni, before he became Buddha, he was a prince and lived a life of ease and pleasure as a prince. He had everything, and he was sheltered from suffering. So it's said that he didn't encounter any suffering in his earlier life. And then he kind of becomes an adult. I mean, it says that, this happens, I think, when he's in his 20s. He leaves the palace finally, on his own. And it's said that one of the Hindu gods kind of leads him out. Maybe it's Indra, I think. Manifests as a chariot driver and says, hey, come on, let's go out there. Right? And so they go out, and the first thing he sees is an elderly person. He's like, I've never seen that before. I guess he was shielded from that as a prince, right? And so he's like, what's wrong with that person? And they're like, the chariot driver says, hey, it's an elderly person. This happens to everyone. Everyone, their body starts to break down. You lose your hearing, your sight, your hair, et cetera, right? That this happens to everybody. He's like, oh my gosh, I've never seen this before. It's a shock. And so they go back, and then the next day they go out again, and he sees a sick person, and he's never encountered illness before. I mean, it's kind of unbelievable, right? It's legendary, but roll with it, right? Like I think we can actually experience this in a way, right? Then the corpse, he's never seen a dead person. And then the mendicant is the 4th one. And so he sees someone, he's like, what's that person doing? Why are they they have robes and they look different. And he says, oh, that's someone seeking enlightenment. And Buddha thinks, that's what I want to do, right? And then he shaves his head, gives away his clothing, just puts on rags, and embarks on his spiritual quest. However, there's a different version of that 4th one. Now this is related to this idea of kindness to all living things. Right? We heard that in the Gassho to Amida. Remember the golden chain, kindness to all living things. And the golden chain itself says, I will be kind and gentle to every living thing, protecting all who are weaker than myself. Right? That's one of the lines in the golden chain. But the 4th sight is that the prince sees farmers in a field and realizes that they're killing insects in order to do agriculture, right? That in order to till the field, in order to make lettuce or whatever, food, vegetables for people to eat, things are being killed. living beings are being killed, that the worms are getting chopped up and the insects. Right? Or nowadays we use pesticide and try to kill every last insect we possibly can and end up killing animals and nature and ourselves, I think, in the process, right? But that recognition, right, of Shakyamuni, that he sees this, that in order to live, others must die. It's really interesting. It's not the most common version of the four sights to have that one. I wonder sometimes if it's kind of a Jodo Shinshu one, right, as opposed to a more general one. I'm just thinking about this kindness to all living things. To me, it seems impossible. The good thing about it is it makes us think, I hope, right? Because some people are doing their best. I know we got at least one vegan in the room, right? And so being vegan is one way to try and live up to that, right? Not only to not eat meat, but to not use any products that are taken from animals, right? So that includes honey, right? It includes leather, right? So it's not only diet, right? I think it's kind of an attitude, and I hope I'm not misrepresenting it. But I really think, it's not only vegetarianism, right? It's not only not eating meat. It's also trying not to utilize animals and living beings in that way. And so, when I say it's an impossible goal, at the same time, people are doing their best to do it, right? And so that's kind of one of the amazing things about veganism. I'm not vegan. I'm not vegetarian. I've tried to cut back on meat over the past 5-10 years, and so we don't eat as much meat as I don't eat as much meat as I used to, but I still eat meat. And we don't have a prohibition against it in Jodo Shinshu. Some Buddhisms, monks are vegetarian. Not original Buddhism. Buddha is said to have eaten meat, but there are certain rules for monks. Right? That the monk is not supposed to kill the animal themselves, and they're not supposed to put in the request, oh, next time could you bring me a hamburger? Right? You're not supposed to do that as a monk. But they do eat meat in some of the Theravada countries. Right? So vegetarianism isn't a strictly followed thing in Buddhism. But Chinese Buddhism, I believe they're mostly vegetarian, the monks. Right? And they do have vegetarian periods where they, even lay people are encouraged to participate in kind of vegetarian time periods. Japan, there aren't really monks like in other countries. I believe most Japanese Buddhist monks are actually married. And certainly Jodo Shinshu, our founder, got married in 1200s, late 1100s, early 1200s, right, and had children, and basically didn't follow precepts, right? Shinran did not. He saw himself as a bad monk, right, and a foolish monk, right? So a monk that wasn't living up to being a true monk, right? And that's what our ministry is, right? And so you've seen us with hair, even some with long hair, right? You see us drink alcohol, you see us eat meat, right? That we don't keep these precepts of I'm living a pure life to be better than the average person, right? In Shinshu, we're all equal. Monk, lay alike. We're equal and we're foolish beings, ordinary people, right? And yet, I think that there is this kind of recognition of the importance of this idea of at least vegetarianism, right? Not consuming meat. And so when we get ordained, actually there's something in Japan called Shojin Ryori, right? Shojin Ryori. Ryori just means food or cuisine, right? Shojin is actually one of the paramitas. It's virya, I think, this kind of endurance and stick-with-itness, steadfastness, effort. Right? And so that shojin ryori is this vegetarian cuisine that is practiced in Buddhist temples in Japan, if not all the time, at certain times. Right? So after we get ordained in Jodo Shinshu, that we get ordained the night before, or on our ordination is in the afternoon or the evening, to be kind of like Shinran when he was a 9-year-old boy and got ordained. And then the next morning we go to Nishihonganji, to Honzan, and we chant. We sit kind of in front. And then after that, we're treated to a vegetarian meal, shojin ryori. Right? So we do have this kind of acknowledgement of this. And so sometimes otokis, right? That like hoonko in the past, we've had otoki where we've tried to do it shojin, right? Do it more vegetarian. And yet, this is not a kind of a rule that we follow for each of us in our individual our days. This fourth insight, right? This fourth sight that Shakyamuni is said to have seen, or Siddhartha is said to have seen, right? Of, wow, even just making food, growing vegetables, that living beings' lives are being taken, right? Is a kind of astounding, deep insight, I think. And I think that for us as Jodo Shinshu, a lot of it is to see myself, right? To see myself and be able to recognize when I'm not living up to these high standards. But what I'm also realizing, and so a few weeks ago, remember I had mokorita, right? That thing of selflessly helping others with no thought of oneself, forgetting yourself, moko, jibun o asurete, forget yourself when you're helping others. That's this almost impossibly high goal. True wisdom and compassion. Dana too, we can just talk about dana, this idea of giving, generosity, but it's selfless giving when it's perfected. Right? And that the paramitas, paramita means perfection. You've passed to the other shore. Right? So this perfect, that's what the bodhisattva is seeking to do, to perfect these things. This selfless giving, this effort, this wisdom. Helping others, benefiting others with no thought of oneself. Kindness to all living things. In the past, I've felt like, is it too much? But I've also come to feel like I like it, right? Because we need to know. We need to know that this is the ultimate goals of Buddhism. Even if I can't get it, even if I can't grab it, get out there and do all this, put all my effort into this, right? To be able to be selfless, purely for all others, to be kind to all living beings. Some Buddhist practice, there's like a thing, the whisk, it's like a kind of a feather duster, it looks like, right? But you use it swiping the ground in front of you so you don't crush insects. The staff that the like Hiei monks, the hijiri, or right, they've got this staff with kind of a ring and then these rings on it, right? And you shake it and it makes this like clanging sound. And part of it was to scare away animals, right? So that they wouldn't harm wouldn't be caused to them, right? So we have these traditions of this kindness, and so I'm coming to appreciate more and more. These are our ultimate goals, right? To have these ultimate goals in mind, even if we're not living up to them, even if the path isn't to live up to them. Right? That's the kind of neat thing about the 6 paramitas that Shinran says the 6 paramitas were for Dharmakara, Bodhisattva did them. They're not our path. They're not our way to do this, because if I can't do it, then I'm lower level than someone who can. Right? It's this kind of radical equality of Pure Land Buddhism, certain kind, certainly Jodo Shinshu. And so it's not this path of trying to be perfect. It's not this path of perfecting these things, of being kind to every single living being. It's a path of being yourself. But being myself, and at the same time aware when I'm not living up to these ideals, when I'm not living up to these ultimate goals. So if we don't talk about these ultimate goals, I don't know what to measure myself against. And I can just be like, yeah, I'm going to do what I want. I don't care. Right? I haven't received any guidance. And it's like, well, no, right? That Buddhism teaches all these things, this kindness, these different ways to be aware. And so this, by knowing of those, being aware of those, to know myself better. And I can still try. I think we do still try. We're being pulled towards it. right? Maybe when we hear the call of Amida, right? We hear this call of the Buddha. Buddha changes us. I believe that part of the experience of Shinjin is this kind of transformation. Right? And part of it maybe is trying and failing, and it's okay to fail. But part of it is hearing, listening for this call, right? And being called, pulled forwards, right? Into a life of not only thinking of myself, right? But becoming aware of the suffering of others and wanting to help with those things in the various ways we live our life. So bringing it back to pets, pets are so wonderful. There was one minister that didn't like it because they found out that the term pet even, I think it's a Western word, right? It's an English word, and it comes from Christianity maybe, and it's got ideas built into it of, the superiority of humans and blah, blah, blah. So they didn't want to call it Pets Memorial, they just called it All Sentient Beings Memorial. It's like, isn't it going a little too far, right? Can't we honor the animals whose lives we share? Right? So I actually don't see myself as a pet owner. Right? I don't think that when the pets that I've had, right? Even our language, it's built in, right? But to realize, right? Do I own this animal, or am I kind of more like a caretaker, caregiver, or companion? Why not companion? I kind of like that, right? And so I can recognize that in some ways I'm giving care, right? But as companions, maybe I'm also receiving other things. Right? The cat isn't going to take care of me and go get the groceries. They're not going to flush the toilet for me, right? They don't brush my hair for me, right? That's all stuff that I would do for the cat. And yet, just having a purring cat next to you, I think, is good for your body, right? I think just having an animal with you, right? Like being with animals, being with others, right? But animals in this case, right? That I think they affect us, psychologically, physiologically. So I don't like the idea of pet ownership, but I do like this idea of being a caretaker. Right? And realizing there's so many pets out there, sorry, not pets, they're not pets, they're animals who were pets maybe and were given up for whatever reason, right? Or they're stray animals, right? That's why I like the TNR, trap, neuter, release for cats, right? That these cats, they can live out there, but we gotta neuter them so that they don't create more and more and more and more and more. I mean, some people say we shouldn't even do that, just let everything be free. But my feeling is, in an urban environment, certainly, right, that we don't want, it causes suffering for these animals that can't take care of themselves. And I think it's better when we can allow them to live and hopefully maybe even give them homes, right? Take care of them, or even just, some cats don't want a human caretaker, but a nice warm box can be nice. Right? I know so many of our animals, right? One of our, Charlie, it was just a stray wandering around in the parking lot, right? And gets taken in and turns out to be this kind of wonderful dog, right? That makes people so happy, right? So animals just can do so much for us. And that's part of it, I don't know if the attitudes are just different. I've kind of, in a way, grown up at Buddhist Church of Oakland, even though I didn't grow up as a kid, but, done so many pets memorials. I don't know how other people in other cultures or other places feel about their pets, but I feel like here, so many don't feel that they're some objects that are owned, right? But are these living beings that we're sharing our lives with. And so I really like the Pets Memorial service to be able to reflect on these different aspects of having these animals in our lives. So thank you so much, everyone. I think it's all the same people, so I don't think we need to repeat the announcements. Why don't we conclude the Dharma message with Gassho. Thinking about our pets, especially those who've passed, and reflecting on how much we receive from them and how much care they allow us to give them. Namo Amida Butsu. 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 Yay, pets. Why don't we conclude our service? Do we want to sing something or? Should we sing Ondoksan 2? Let's sing Ondoksan 2. It's on page 80 in the small purple book. Something like that. So this song, Ondoksan, is Shinran's. The On is the benevolence, right? And it's expressing what we call Ho-On, right? Wanting to respond to the benevolence of the Buddha. And usually it's understood as Amida Buddha's compassion, but he also includes the masters, right? The teachers. And I like to think of our pets, my pets anyway, as teachers in many ways. So we can maybe dedicate Ondoksan 2 this time to all our pets that we read on the list. Nyorai dai no ondoku wa miyoko ni shite mo hozu beshi shishu chishiki no ondoku mo one o kudakite mo shasu beshi. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Namanda. Namanda. Okay, thank you. Why don't we conclude our service? Thank you very much.